Born on November 27, 1942 in Seattle, Hendrix had a turbulent childhood. His parents, Al and Lucille, struggled financially and fought often. Lucille was only 17 when Jimmy was born, and Al was serving in the military in Alabama. He wasn't allowed to return home and was even locked up for over a month when he requested leave. Jimmy's early life was chaotic. Both parents drank heavily. Their home life was unstable, and 4 of his siblings were taken by the state and placed in foster care. At one point, young Jimmy was sent to live with a family friend in California. After Al returned from the military in 1945, he brought Jimmy back to Seattle. In 1951, Al and Lucille divorced. Al gained custody of Jimmy and his younger brother Leon. When Lucille died of liver disease in 1958, Jimmy was just 15. Al didn't allow the boys to attend the funeral. Instead, he gave them whiskey and said, "This is how men deal with loss." Around that time, Hendrix began finding comfort in music. At school, he was so obsessed that he carried a broom around pretending it was a guitar. A social worker noticed and even asked the school if they could get him a real guitar, but nothing came of it. In 1957, when Jimmy was 15, he discovered a broken ukulele with one string while helping his dad clean a house. The woman living there let him keep it, and he taught himself to play by listening to Elvis Presley songs. After his mother's death, Al finally bought him a real guitar, and it became Jimmy's refuge. Immersed in blues and early rock, he taught himself how to play. By 17, he dropped out of Garfield High School and joined local bands like the Rocking Kings and the Velvet Ones. He often struggled for money, sometimes even sleeping in abandoned cars, but he never gave up playing. One of Hendrix's early influences was Butch Snipes, a guitarist who played with his teeth. Jimmy adopted the move and made it part of his act. In 1961, at age 19, Hendrix was arrested for riding in a stolen car. After spending a week in jail, he was given a choice: go to prison or join the army. He chose the military and joined the 101st Airborne Division, the legendary Screaming Eagles known for their role in D-Day. After completing basic training at Fort Ord, California, he was stationed at Fort Campbell in Kentucky. Military life didn't suit Hendrix. He disliked the rules and structure and often wrote letters to his father complaining. His one source of comfort was his red Danelectro guitar, which he named Betty Jean. At Fort Campbell, he met fellow soldier Billy Cox, a bassist. They bonded over music and formed a band called the King Casuals, performing around the base and nearby towns. Hendrix's military career ended after just 13 months. Officially, he was discharged due to an ankle injury during his 26th parachute jump. But records also show issues with discipline, skipping bed checks, poor physical training, and low performance. Despite the problems, he received an honorable discharge. After leaving the Army, Hendrix and Billy Cox moved to Clarksville, Tennessee, where they continued performing as the King Casuals. Hendrix's style began to evolve. He played right-handed guitars upside down, being left-handed himself, and started incorporating flamboyant moves like playing behind his head or with his teeth. He once joked, "Down there you have to play with your teeth or else you get shot," referring to the intense pressure to entertain. From 1962 to 1965, Hendrix played as a backup guitarist on the Chitlin Circuit, a network of clubs where black musicians could perform during segregation. The conditions were harsh and payment was inconsistent. Sometimes they were paid in food. In 1964, feeling stuck, Hendrix moved to the Hotel Teresa in Harlem seeking creative freedom. There, he met Lithophane Faye Priggen, a Harlem music scene regular who became his girlfriend and supporter. He also met twin musicians Arthur and Albert Allen. Hendrix started playing in small clubs and jam sessions around New York. In February 1964, he entered the Apollo Theater's amateur night and won first place, proving his ability to command a crowd. That win helped him get an audition with the Isley Brothers Band. He impressed them and joined their backing band. In March 1964, he recorded his first studio track, Testify, with them. Though it didn't chart, it was his first official step into the industry. Later that year, he played on Don Covey's Mercy Mercy, which reached number 35 on the Billboard chart. He toured with the Isleys until October 1964 but grew tired of the routine and left. In early 1965, Hrix joined Little Richard's touring group, The Upsetters. In Los Angeles, he recorded I Don't Know What You Got But It's Got Me, written by Don Covey. Although it peaked only at number 92, it gave Hendrix valuable studio experience. While staying at the Wilcox Hotel in Hollywood, Hendrix met singer Rosalie Brooks and played guitar on her single, My Diary, written by Arthur Lee. This introduced Hrix to Lee's band, Love, which he would later support. In July 1965, Hrix appeared on television for the first time on Nashville's Night Train, performing as part of Little Richard's band. That clip remains the earliest known footage of Hendrix performing live. However, his relationship with Little Richard was rocky. Hrix's flamboyant style clashed with Richard's vision. Eventually, Richard's brother Robert fired him. On July 27, 1965, Hendrix signed his first recording contract with Juggy Murray of Sue Records and a management group called Copa. He briefly rejoined the Isley Brothers, recording Move Over and Let Me Dance. In late 1965, he joined Curtis Knight and the Squires, staying for about 8 months. They recorded How Would You Feel and Welcome Home. But Hrix had already signed a 2-year deal with Sue Records and another 3-year contract with Ed Chalpin, which would cause legal troubles later. He played on Ray Sharp's Help Me, earning his first songwriting credits in 1966 with the instrumentals Hornet's Nest and Knock Yourself Out. By that year, Hrix was ready to break free from the R&B backup scene. He moved to Greenwich Village, New York, a hotbed for artistic expression, and started performing at Café Wa on McDougal Street. There, he formed a new band called Jimmy James and the Blue Flames, which included Randy California, later the founder of the band Spirit. Hendrix was finally stepping into the spotlight he had long fought to reach. In New York, Jimi Hendrix used his early gigs to shape his sound, experimenting with new styles and stage moves. By September 1966, he was playing some of his final shows with his band at Café Au Go Go in Manhattan, performing as a backup group for singer John Hammond. On September 24, 1966, Hrix landed at London Airport, then newly renamed Heathrow, with almost nothing, a change of clothes, some hair curlers, a guitar, and 40 borrowed dollars. He didn't know it yet, but this trip would transform his life. Earlier that summer, he had been performing under the name Jimmy James in small New York clubs. One night at Café Wa in Greenwich Village, former Animals bassist Chas Chandler saw him play. Chandler was scouting for talent, and when he heard Hrix, he knew he had found something special. Just 12 days after Hrix arrived in London, the Jimi Hendrix Experience was formed on October 6, 1966. Chandler brought in musicians including Noel Redding, whom he met at an audition for the new Animals. Hendrix appreciated Redding's understanding of blues progression and his unusual hairstyle. For drums, Chandler chose Mitch Mitchell, who had just been fired from Georgie fame and the Blue Flames. Mitchell and Hrix bonded over their shared love of rhythm and blues.